All right, everyone, thank you and welcome to the pre-match press conference as the CommBank Matildas take on China PR tomorrow night at Adelaide Oval with a 7:40 p.m. kickoff. Before I commence, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners on the land on which we gather today, the Kaurna people of the Adelaide Plains, and pay respects to elders past and present. We recognise and respect their cultural heritage, beliefs and relationship to the land. Tony and Caitlin, welcome to Adelaide. Tony, how has the team been in terms of preparation and how are they feeling ahead of the first match?
First of all, I want to say thank you very much for the warm welcome that we've had here in Adelaide. Charlotte Grant have spoken so highly about this area and said, you need to see it, Tony, it's amazing. And I had the chance to do it firsthand, and it's been amazing. And even the pitch out here that we trained on has been one of the best pitches that we trained on in a camp on home soil. So it's been amazing to be here to prepare for the game. In terms of the preparation, it's been a stressful week for me, to be honest, because it's the week of selection. And Caitlin and I spoke a little bit about it in terms of making these tough decisions as a head coach. Is, to be honest, the worst part of being a head coach is that you have to tell someone at the end of this week that you're not going to the Olympics. So it's a lot of evaluation of trainings, look at players, meetings with tech staff. So the preparation is not just about the game tomorrow, it's about the Olympics. So the game tomorrow is a massive step in the preparation to the Olympics. Not just from an individual selection standpoint, but also for the team in preparing. We don't have that many games left to prepare for this Olympics, so it's a very, very important game. And then a little bit of a special game as well. The former Matilda coach on the other side that knows the in and out of this team and every single detail of the players, so they're going to be very, very well prepared. So we're really looking forward to the game tomorrow.
Caitlin, you've been back in Australia for just over a week. How have you found your own preparation heading into Friday?
Yeah, it's been good. As Tony said, it's the first thing I noticed here is how good the pitch is training here at Cooper Stadium. And yeah, it makes it enjoyable for us to go out and train, and it has only been a week, so still trying to get over jet lag, but I think I finally have now. So good timing, just in time for the game tomorrow. So really excited to be here in South Australia and have a game in Adelaide again.
We'll go straight to the floor. Vince.
Thanks, Anne. Hi, Tony. How many players would you say have you decided that are in your 18-player squad at this point? Like how many open slots are still up for grabs? And also the IOC change in terms of the alternates. Could you talk us through when you found out that was different, and does that impact anything you're going to do around the squad at all?
Start with the first question. We've had almost 4 years to prepare for this in terms of understanding of the players. I've had this team for a long time now, so I have more knowledge coming into this selection process than previous selections, which means I think a core group of players is locked in for us and the coaching staff. I'd say roughly 14 to 15 is there. There's a question mark on a player availability like Katrina Gore, for example. So when we make it as a selection, we have to make it based on where we think she will be the 25th of July, not where she's at now. But then the other spots is up for grabs, but there's a lot of players competing for it. So that's the tough part. I think when it comes to the alternates, I always look at it this way. It's a total number of players that you select for the Olympics, and you have a certain amount of numbers that you know is available from the first game, but then there's availability for replacements. And when you look at the alternates, you always need to look at what player types do you need to have ready to step in when needed, different positions, but also players that can step in and change the mindset from being an alternate to actually be in there in a matter of a second. I wish we could use all those players, because I think the more game changes you have, the more you can influence the game. And I think considering it's a very, very tight game schedule, I also think for the player well-being that it would have been good if we could have every player available through the whole tournament, considering the congested schedule that we had or have.
I have a question for Caitlin. Obviously, it's billed as a friendly, but as Tony's just talked about, there's a lot riding on this game for everyone in this team. What's the vibe like in the camp? Is that weighing on people, or is it just business as usual?
Yeah, there's no such thing as a friendly to start off with. So yeah, every national team game, every time we put on the green and gold, it's definitely not a friendly match, but yeah, I guess it is a tough camp in the sense of, the team's going to be selected and there's a few more nerves, and this is the last opportunity to kind of prove yourself and show that. So, I would say a lot of the girls are nervous for the game tomorrow. It's the last chance, last opportunity. But, we go out there to win, and these are important games for us to do that, especially here on home soil.
Tony, you touched on how good the pitch is out here. Obviously, you won't get the chance to train on Adelaide Oval before Friday. Is there any concern about what the pitch might look like? There's a footy game tonight, and hopefully the rain stays away, but might be a little bit chewed up by tomorrow night.
I hope it's not. The reason I say that is the way we want to play is that we want to play an attacking style of football, move the ball very fast. We have a lot of technical players. I think the people that have followed us over the year post the World Cup have seen that we have done tremendous amount of work to try to improve our passing game and our build-up phase. So in order to do that in an effective way, it has to be a good pitch. But I also know this team that no matter what's thrown at them, whether it's a pitch or a injury or whatever weather, or they just do it, they get it done. And it's just who these players are. So no matter what we face tomorrow, we're going to be ready to play, and we're going to adjust to what's out there, whether it's weather or pitch or opposition formation or an injury and player unavailability. We're going to be ready.
And you spoke about Charlie pestering you about SAs. She's been pestering you about maybe wanting to start. I'm sure a lot of people will be wanting for her to start, and of course Ellie, tight schedule coming back from Champions League duty as well.
Yeah, you're spot on. Ellie, both mentally and physically, and arrived late into camp as well for natural reasons. We need to balance that. But also, if you look at Charlie, I think, I said it before and I want to say it again, I think Charlie represents a lot of what this team represents. She's gone through a lot of adversity and tough situation. I mean, she sat in the stands in Rosengård in the Swedish leagues, not even selected in the game roster at times. And then looking at where she is today is because her mindset is just, I can't put words to it. Her mindset is just unbelievable. And I think that represents this team as well. She deserves playing time, and I never want to reveal a lineup before I talk to the players, and we have a meeting tonight. But what I can say is that you will see Charlie on the field tomorrow.
Just a question for Caitlin. How important is it just to be back around all the girls again, heading into the friendlies, but of course the Olympics as well?
Yeah, I mean, the window for national team's always such a short window, and to go from club into national team, it is short. But, I mean, I've grown up playing with these girls, and this is where I want to be. We want to take the field together, and, we play each other week in, week out overseas and in club and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, we want to be on the pitch together, and the goal ahead is the Olympics. And it's kind of felt like a long time coming with how long our seasons have been, and now we're finally here, and this is the last kind of prep. It's exciting for us, and now that goal, we can start to focus on, which is really exciting.
Tony, Sam missing from this series and also sadly the Olympics as well. I'm sure everyone in Australia would love to see her out there, but when a star like her is missing, it often leaves space for the younger players to step up. Have you seen that throughout this camp, some of those younger girls stepping up in leadership and on field as well?
Yeah, it's actually interesting you mentioned leadership there, because there's so different, many different dimensions of leadership. And when you say a young player, I think we forget how young Ellie Carpenter is, for example, and she's now our assistant captain for a reason. She represents the never say die attitude in this Matilda's team in a way that very few does. She always put 100% out there, is very committed, but she's also very mature for being so young and experienced, And then you add to that, you have players that is now starting to add up a lot of caps, like a Mary Fowler, for example, that is used to playing do-or-die games both for club and for country, and you can lead in different way. You can lead with your voice, you can lead with your actions, playing tough and physical. You can lead with a way that always want the ball, never shy away. There's so many different ways of leading in this team, and every player do that in the individual way. And Caitlin mentioned it as well here, that the connection in this team, they love to play together, they used to play together, and they respect each other's differences. And I think that is part of the success of this team, that you're allowed to be different, you're allowed to be you, but then you put those pieces together, and as a team, you play good.
Hi, I'm Sophia Turnbackers. Caitlin, How hard do you have to work physically and mentally to become a Matilda?
Yeah, I think extremely hard. Probably when I was your age, I was, playing a lot. My mum was driving me a lot to get to training. I'm sure your mum is as well. And yeah, they put in a lot of time and you put in a lot of time as well. And I think probably the toughest period is high school when, you know, your friends are going out, birthday parties and stuff like that, and you make the sacrifice to stay in and because you have a game in the morning or training, and yeah, those little things add up, and the moment you put on a Matildas jersey, it's all worthwhile. So yeah, a lot of hard work, a lot of sacrifices, but once you get there, it's all worth it.
Thank you. Tony, for the lead up to Paris, have you thought of any formations yet?
How much should I reveal? Because that's a great question. I have. In terms of formation, this team have shown that we have a lot of flexibility and variation in what we do now. Our defensive structure has been solid and consistent for a while, mostly in a 4-4-2 shape. Our attacking shape have had a lot of variation, where we played with a so-called false nine, a forward that normally plays up top can come down in the midfield to create more numbers. But we've also done a couple of rotations as of late to build up with a 3-back. That's a lot of terminology now, but we have said that we want to be flexible in the way we play, to be a little bit more difficult to scout, but also to use the skill set of each player in the best way possible.